impromptu thing. I think I just turned off one of the maps for no reason. Very smart of me. I'm using the old overlay, and yeah, that's really all there is to it. Okay. All right. Resistance has banned out Sky and Shire. So let me get to those right now. Sky and Shire. And the side of Psistorm Dragoons has banned Braxis and Infernal. Fantastic. We've got our bans. Yeah. And let's just do the thing. Get it done. Huh? And it looks like this is a map picked by the side of the focus on loud resistance, which means we are going to Ultrec Pass for game number 1. All right. Yeah. No, Bob, you guys don't get an interview. Like, seriously, though. You guys played hard. You did everything you could to fight it out. But in the end, LTK was too good for you guys. They knew that in order to win against you guys, they didn't even have to play. And I'll be honest with you. LTK probably could have just waited, and you guys couldn't have brought 5 members. Baby Diamond Heads is literally cursed. I can't cast them at all. All right. And here we go. It's both teams are on the right side. Falstad is first banned. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why is... Okay, everything's fine. They have the right team as first pick, but why is red side blue? What? Drafting is being weird. Oh well. Leoric and Junkrat are both banned out. Leoric's probably number 4, number 5 in the offlane, depending on who you ask. Junkrat is the most annoying anchor in this game. And yeah. So far, good power picks, good removal of strong stuff, and Garrosh is banned out. Wonder who the Garrosh player is. And Gale Pigeon takes Johanna. Oh, that's pretty funny. And wait, Ragnaros? Browling's reasonable, but Ragnaros is something of a tech pick still. That means that the side of Dragoons actually gets access to Hogger as well as Stukov. It's going to be scary for Prometheus if he wants to Z onto a target that's caught, because there's a good chance of being a Stukov puddle. Pretty spooky. And Murden's banned out. Solanas is banned out. Means that the tanks options are basically a Nubarak, Diablo. At least those are the reasonable ones. There's Diablo, taken alongside a Tychus. Brightwing Diablo is also a decent enough combo. But this map has a lot of open spaces, so, you know, the odds that Diablo is going to get perfect value here without Brightwing's help is iffy at best.
With every death comes on.
Hanzo's taken, as is Thrall, second bruiser. Thrall has access to a lot of percent damage talents at 1, 7, and 16. He makes for an excellent front-to-back killer, especially into Diablo in lieu of Tychus. Dahak is also picked up on by Divine. It's iffier. To say the least. There aren't a lot of bushes for Dahak trait to get value. And your ability to interact with most of the important spaces is very much dig rather than passive value. Anyways, let's go into game number 1. Starting that prediction up right now. And There we go. Do. All right. Let's get into game number 1. On the side of La Resistance, we have MR, Mr. Bros on Ragnaros, Aqua's on Diablo, Azuriel on Tychus, Prometheus on Brightwing, and Divine on Dahaka. For the side of the Dragoons, we have the Red Rook on Thrall, Gambling on Hanzo, Bramble on Hogger, Senpai on Stukov, and Chaos Pigeon on Johanna. Oops. Zip. Neither team really gets much domination over this lane. Hawk and Hogger both opt to go topside. Azuriel starts the Q channel, gets interrupted by Chaos Pigeon. Bros steps on in, the grenade clears out the waves. Both of the globes go over to the side of Dragoons. And it looks like Dragoons has developed just an itty bit of priority. Bros, however, rotates down bot side. Nice and quick like. So, that is not really going to matter here. Speaking of talents, we see Meatball build on Rag. Rolling Thunder, so we're looking at percent damage. Bramble starts the camp nice and early. Ragnaros is not going to be able to do the same thing with the same level of efficiency. Gambling and Senpai are trading out in. I'm not sure what Hogger's doing. Maybe building up Rage for the spin. Maybe he doesn't know the spin for this map. That wasn't an infi spin, but it will get cleared off quickly. Meanwhile, whoa! Red Rook is getting ganked by Aquas there. It's a nice pick. Meanwhile, Bros has actually managed to clear this camp almost as fast as this Hogger. I mean, it's not truly superior speed because of how slow the Hogger was, relatively speaking, but okay. Yeah, this is weird. I don't know what to think about this. Like, it's mage build, freaking Ragnaros, it's Thrall 4-man as a tank buster, it's... Yeah. I don't even want to know. Meanwhile, Divine makes it on out, gets the wave. A lot of chip has happened here for basically no reason. And it looks like the side of the Resistance, having held their camp, they weathered the storm fairly effectively, barely took any damage, are now able to do a lot more in exchange. Time of the camp was an interesting choice, but it paid dividends here. Aquas appears to be considering another attempt at a pick. Azuriel sees with Johanna. Chaos Pigeon is heading back to top side, so if Red Rook gets jumped, it's going to be up to Senpai to save him. Daka has 3 options for this point. These 2, aggressively, or these 2. You also have several defensive bushes, but this is really the only one that's available. Rose is slowed, silenced, but doesn't take that much damage. Augur begins to spin, but it's not a permanent one. It's looking pretty ugly for Brambles. He's going to lose a lot of HP before finishing this one off. Rose, comparatively, is cutting the camp rather effectively. It's reducing the amount of damage that he's taking. Brambles, meanwhile, is at half health after getting healed up by Stukov. Bros finishes the camp off with his Q. Meanwhile, Azuriel and Aquas are doing a lot in terms of chip. They've managed to take down the gate here. And this camp has been timed perfectly that it will take both tower damage and it will be vulnerabilized by the other camp. Means it basically clears for free. Gambling's taking some fire. Prometheus tanks a Q. Meanwhile, Bramble is getting a lot of free chip. He's taking down the gate in basically for free. Meanwhile, the mid-side gate is also lost. Senpai begins to stall, but doesn't have the permanent talent, so he can't do it forever. Both teams passed 7 a while ago. Standard issue Diablo build, anti-CC Relentless Soldier Tychus, and percent damage Thrall. It's also a blast build from Hogger. Zuriel gets a little bit of chip. Doesn't get hit by the slow. Chaos Pigeon won't really be able to do anything for the engage there. And both teams are allowed to disengage quite freely. Once again, Mr. Bros going in and clearing out this camp using a combination of kiting for the meteor and stutter stepping to prevent getting hit by much. Barely loses any HP. Bramble, meanwhile, is having a little bit more trouble with these camps. Ults are coming out for both sides. We see Isolation, Blink, Heal, Dragon Laser Drill, Lava Wave, Sundering, Flailing Swipe, Blessed Shield, Hortipult, Dragon's Arrow, and APOC. Chaos Pigeon isn't quite capable of saving Gambling. Fires off the Blessed Shield in exchange. Senpai is caught. Azuriel is trying to do enough damage, can't quite. Laser Drill is hitting the camp and is getting killed by towers, but meanwhile, the Hogger goes down on the side of Brambles. Not sure how that one happened. Need to activate instant replay technology for one of these casts. And it's looking like our resistance is going to take this one. Got another 10 seconds to defend. And I knew I forgot something. Oh well. Thrall goes down. Aquaz loses his souls and also goes down. It's not a big deal, but it's 12 classes, and I'm now molding instead of focusing on the game. Anyways, 13s are out for the side of Lab Resistance. You see Hellfire as the first pick. We see Spray and Pray, Resilient Flame, Pixie Boost, and Ferocious Stalker. Azuriel tanking tower shots here. Extremely aggressive. There's no root out online just yet. That was Senpai's plan. Bot side is still pushing, and both mid and top are seriously damaged. Chaos Pigeon gets stunned, is getting hit by basically all that percent damage. Oh, Bramble goes in with a big Hortipult. Lava Wave is active. Nobody eats it on the side of Dragoons. But now Bramble's not in a good position. Apoc is used specifically to kill him. It doesn't quite finish the job. Aquas is now taking a massive amount of damage. Aquas doesn't have souls, can't come back. And it's looking like the Dragoons now have a window to get back in this game. They're going to use that, take a boss, but this won't save them from the increasingly vast soak difference. Bros, Prometheus are both taking that camp. It'll end up pushing out mid lane. Chaos Pigeons going in for the wave. There's a lot of soak here, but they won't easily be able to cover it up. Oh, and they got 13 somewhere. So we are seeing it hungers. So that's the reset. And yeah, that boss was done basically for free. But Divine's going to get some chances. Do a bit of chippy. Senpai and Redbrook, as well as Bramble, are also here to try to stop it. Divine is not going to have a good time. Divine gets 4-man ganked, which is going to give Dragoons a chance to steal a boss here. This push, however, will finish off mid lane. Aquas is lurking. He's at 61 souls. And meanwhile, it's looking like Love Resistance is going to do a bit of asymmetrical warfare. They're going to take as much chip here as they possibly can before disengaging. That boss is going to be a problem. They have 16s on the side of Love Resistance. So the next head-up team fight, if it happens in the next 30 seconds, they're likely going to win it. Gambling's clearing the camp. Red Rook is doing as much as they can. Brambles catches the bot side soak. And we see Alpha Wolf. This is a full percent damage, anti-Diablo Thrall. We see the first Molten Core being used, if I'm not mistaken. And the side of Lava Resistance successfully defends their fort. Chaos Pigeon gets dragged halfway across the map. Bramble gets that spin and disengages efficiently. Dragoons has that camp pushing. They'll get the towers with it. But with both teams at 16, with the camp advantage coming out for a few seconds for Lava Resistance, they're going to likely be able to defend this objective with an incoming team fight. That Meteor is now an explosive little irritation. Arrow catches everyone, including the Brightwing, who just eats the Stukov Silence, goes down. Tychus also drops. Ooh, Bramble goes in. It's looking for Mr. Bros instead of the Diablo, but Diablo forces out Apoc. Mr. Bros is actually going to just barely get out of the way of that dynamite. Meanwhile, Senpai finds another kill on Aqua. Divine, gone bot side, is going to handle that lane out. And the waves that are pushing are going to render this objective mostly nullified. However, those deaths are going to give the side of Dragoons a lot of time to just burn this down. Bros has Lava Wave, so it's going to be difficult to push in any further. Gambling does a bit more chip on that tower, but none of these objectives are going to be here for a very long time. If Frag wants to maximize the amount of damage for this wave, he's going to have to wait another 9 seconds before firing it. Unfortunate. I disagree with this level wave because it does allow Bramble to have so much freedom to push this. Had he hit it at the right moment, as we can sort of see here, it decayed. Oh, you can see it, right? Like, if he had fired it 2 seconds later, it would have killed the whole wave. You want to fire Lava Wave at 50 and 20 seconds, I believe, are the optimal moments to use it in the rotation of time. And oh no, the Brightwing goes down while trying to save Divine. Bramble gets tongued during the tower dive and wall banged, and oh no! That's a 1-for-1 now. Chaos Pigeon has been found out, but Aquas and Azuriel cannot step any further if they want to have Ragnaros helping them. But yeah. Great micro on these camps by bros. Didn't know you could be this efficient with Rag. Something new for me next time I play this. They're holding the camp. But he elects not to at this point, which makes sense. Divine's coming into mid lane. They take this fight. They're down Brightwing for a few more seconds. Brightwing likely doesn't have the Z for a bit longer, but clear comes to the favor of Loud Resistance. And now the question becomes, do they pick a fight over this boss? They have 20s as an advantage for a brief few seconds. They have multiple lava waves. Once again, you can see it's been launched a bit too soon. This time I predict that it's not going to actually even hit the spawning wave at all. As you can see, it crashes, then the wave spawns. If you had held out for a few more seconds, it would have hit multiple waves. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to develop into a fight here. Divine might just get the pick on Bramble. And it looks like Bramble is going to be the first one down. No, Senpai with a few clean shoves. Saves Bramble's life. There's a lava wave in this wave now, and it's going to be very dangerous. Senpai might get Diablo charged here in a few seconds. Apoc is used. Senpai dodges the whole thing, but there goes the lava wave. Divine might catch Bramble again. That they do. Mr. Bros uses the trait here. It's likely going to be able to snipe Bramble in a few seconds. And Bramble goes down. That's 2 kills. Potentially 3 for nothing. Chaos Pigeon, unlikely to immediately die to Aquas, but Azuriel finishes the job and then moves straight to the channel. Divine Z's up at some point, catches the soak, and moves on. The next lava wave is available. But it's looking like they're leaving Aquas onto the point, and the rest of La Resistance will take a boss. It's going to be an incredibly difficult fight for the Dragoons to handle. They're going to have to defend basically every lane if they want to make it out alive. They have to, 1, give up this keep. 2, they have to worry about either of these structures being destroyed. So it puts them in a situation where, yeah, there's very few options. The boss could have been held a little bit longer by the side of La Resistance. As it is now, this is going to crash before the objective comes up. Nonetheless, though, La Resistance is willing to push with it and create pressure. Lava Wave used top, going to go ahead of the Ram, and is going to give it a free push. That Ram will accelerate up multiple waves, and with that destroyed, it's going to give them the opportunity to have a strong push topside around the same time that they are pushing in mid lane. Boss itself is likely going to die on core without doing much damage, as the cores regenerate on this map. Mid lane is cleared out quickly. Broth has placed down a lava wave, so if this fight continues, it's going to be very difficult to defend. Meanwhile, top side is taking serious damage. And Azuriel and crew move on in. Focusing diodes to drill down. Prometheus gets caught. The Sunder against the trait just brutalizes that poor Brightwing again. Aquas takes a lot of percent damage, but mid lane is nearly gone. Topside can't finish core on its own, but going to be incredibly difficult for the Dragoons now. One more fight, one more boss, and this core goes down. As it is, La Resistance can take a kill on this boss in a few seconds if they're ever given the chance. Divine puts the pressure bot side. Bros keeps on clearing out that camp. Azuriel comes in and helps, and Aqua's still at full soul, just handling the clear. The boss is going to give... Oh, Divine! Cheeky. Extremely cheeky. Well done. And well played by Divine. No wall here, so the Dragoons have a good chance of making an effective push here, but between Lava Wave and Molten Core, actually taking this down is going to be tricky. They're feeling it. They don't have Hogger for a few more seconds. This camp can now threaten Core as well. Senpai gets yeeted. Sundering is forced out. Chaos Pigeon is probably going to go down here. Blessed Shield lands, and Divine just disappears. Aqua gets percent damage down. Wait. Oh my word, Aqua's full heals himself multiple times before dropping. And Red Rook goes down to the focusing diodes first. Senpai and Gambling are at 100 and 200 HP respectively. Senpai has got a heat-taking boulder, and Senpai goes down. The longer La Resistance can keep Dragoons here, the more damage this core can potentially take. Gambling manages to back and then breaking of tie, but Brambles has to pretend on the geometry gods now that he doesn't get, you know, completely isolated like this. Chaos Pigeon's too low to stand their ground anymore. If they want to heal up, they have to go all the way back. 30 seconds until both of their members are back on the side of La Resistance. It's extremely dangerous for them, but Chaos Pigeon comes back in. Rose is the target. The arrows hits Azuriel first. Divine catches this Hanzo. Gambling is reduced to about 20% HP before escaping. Bramble, on the other hand, manages to almost kill Azuriel, but is likely to go down. Dahaka manages to catch Hanzo off screen, and Aqua's outduels with Johanna. Brambles is the only member left standing right now, although Red Rook is now here to engage in battle. This is going to be a rough fight. Aqua's is put to full HP. Red Rook, Senpai, and crew are going to have to make it out of here alive. Brambles goes down. And now it's Senpai and Red Rook. If this objective gets taken, it's all over. Aquas comes in with a big flank. And there goes Senpai. Red Rook gets tongued and gets lasered. That is GG. Game 1 passes on to the side of La Resistance. I see. Hmm. Alright, let's give La Familia their star. Where's that star at? Whoops. Christ, not this again. Stream information, deciding to be eclectic, shall we say? Next round is going to be match point for the side of Psistorm Dragoons. They need to win this one if they want to stay in this. And yeah, their only option is now a reverse sweep. This is going to be spicy. Where are we going to next? Doot. I can't wait for the second round to begin. All right. It looks like this is going to be again map pick for the side of Resistance. We are going to Cursed Hollow. Boop. Boop. Once again, this is match point for the Psistorm Dragoons. They lose this round, and they lose the match.
Cursed Hollow.
This is what I get for eating in the middle of a cast again. The insecurity and hope that my microphone is in fact actually working. Anyways, welcome to game number 2. Match point for the side of La Resistance. Once again, Falstad is banned out. And Hagar is removed. Bramble will not be playing it on this map. Divine's Dahaka is now banned out. This is a map where Dahaka is much stronger. And once again, Garrosh is removed.
It's a perfect day for some mayhem.
For the Alliance of Purple.
The crusade calls.
And this time, Gambling takes the Junkrat. And in response, Aqua takes Johanna, followed by Anduin.
Oh, this is my jam.
Bramble takes Blaze, and Senpai this time takes Lucio. Anyways, Diablo and Genji are both banned out. Genji always makes sense when Anduin is available because Genji Life Bomb sucks. Once again, we see Mr. Bros on Ragnaros. This time Zuriel takes Zul'jin. Huh. Well, ain't that a weird set?
Victory for the
Ready for action.
This galaxy shall suffer.
And Azuriel and Divine take Leoric and Zul'jin. Gambling. This time is on Sylvanas, and Chaos Pigeon is taking Muradin. Alright. Let's get into game number 2. Match point for the side of Match point for the side of Lab Resistance.
Prepare yourself for battle, heroes.
All right. On the side of Lab Resistance, we have Aquas on Johanna, Divine on Leoric, Mr. Bros on Ragnaros, Prometheus on the side of Anduin, and Azuriel on Zul'jin. For the side of Psistorm Dragoons, we have the Red Rook on Blaze, Bramble on... Wait, what? Bramble's on Junkrat, Gambling is on Sylvanas, Senpai is on Lucio, and Chaos Pigeon is on Muradin.
Yeah, looks good.
Oh, Gambling managed to catch an entire tower without me seeing it. Not bad. But yeah. Still side lane. Both teams are catching a lot of soak. Red Rook has a 3-man gank put on him, but he makes it out without losing more than 20% of his HP. Aquas rotates on top side. Bramble gets a lot of clear without any opposition. And escapes on out. Meanwhile, Gambling and Senpai start that Bruiser camp. They started early. For them, starting the Bruiser camp first is absolutely the play here. If you're on their side. Ah. And, yeah, so the side of Psistorm Dragoons has taken their Bruiser camp on. Azuriel is doing the same thing for Lab Resistance with the Siege camp. It's going to give Gambling a chance to do a little bit of... Oh, nope. It appears Gambling is just going to go straight to the Siege camp. Bramble's going to clear it out, and level 4s are out for both teams. Azuriel and Bramble trade a little bit. We're seeing Standard Piercing Light. Hold Your Ground is a little off meta for JoJo right now. But we have Paralyzing Rage to make up for that. Voodoo Shuffle. Thunderburn, Shattering Teeth, Incinerator, and Unstable Poison. Gambling finishes that camp in good time. Mr. Bros has been taking this camp, though, for the side of La Resistance while I wasn't looking. However, the slow clear from Azuriel results in the loss of a turret and the majority of the gates. Chaos Pigeon and Bramble clear out the camp effectively. They've lost half a tower, though. Divine takes a lot of damage. Chaos Pigeon takes a lot of damage, but his HP also is going to come back pretty much immediately. Just want to say, if you want to bid on La Resistance right now, if you put 10 points in, you'd have 560 to... You'd have 56 to 1 odds, is what you'd have. Gambling, use Black Arrows to catch that camp. Mr. Bros has already cleared out the bot side siege camp, and now it becomes a stall fest for whoever can take this first point. La Resistance has picked up a little bit more soak, but not by a huge margin. Azuriel runs on in. Chaos Pigeon jumps in to try to catch Azuriel on the mine, but there just wasn't enough damage. Aquas took a lot of HP loss off camera. And meanwhile, Mr. Bros is solo clearing and is going to get that 7 advantage. Divine gets stunned out, though. Looking like Divine is going to go down here. Oh, and he goes down before I even call it. And level 7s are always coming out. Sticky Wicket, Nano Machine Coating, especially good into Zul'jin. Don't know enough about Sylphs to comment. And we see Desperate Prayer. Meanwhile, Mr. Bros has taken 2 towers worth of chip in a lane with basically no opposition. Divine is doing the same thing. It's an interesting composition, to say the least. Giving them an edge in soak.
Gather tribute or face
But whether or not they'll win team fights late game is going to be another head scratcher. Gambling trades on in to Azuriel. Azuriel sitting at 6 extra auto attack damage right now. Not too shabby, but not enough to make a difference yet. Bros trades on in, does a lot of damage, and it's just fine himself. Red Rook sitting at about half HP, and Bramble steps up for the channel. Meanwhile, Gambling goes in and finishes off that tower that they started cheesing a while ago. Azuriel's here to punish it this time. Chaos Pigeon jumps on in, can't quite connect with Azuriel though, and now Divine is on the flank. It's a 3-man, super slow, and Azuriel gets a lot of chance to just hit Arcanite Axis and start stacking. Meanwhile, Red Rook has been power doved into oblivion. Holy moly. I don't even want to know what that was. Like, it's just kind of a little mean. We see Lava Wave, Blessed Shield, Tomb, Tostingo, all good ultimates. But that level difference is huge. And it's looking like Bros, Prometheus, Divine, Aquas, everybody except for Zul'jin is starting this boss. Gambling and Red Rook are burning that camp down as quickly as possible. If you want to get a bet in, and you want to bet on La Resistance, you have about 15 seconds, I'm guessing. Bramble steps on in. Is likely going to be able to channel this one for free. Azuriel goes in for the stall. He's doing this alone. He's running. Oh, and he's disconnected. No. I don't think Azuriel is going to be able to pop his ult before this pause is removed. Meanwhile, we can see that the side of Dragoons has started a boss. But they are behind the curve on that one. Meanwhile, the entirety of top lane has been cleared out by a lava wave. In this position, it is perhaps best for Dragoons to opt out of immediately channeling this curse, let their boss get taken down to full, maybe save about another 20 seconds, then push with the boss after channeling. Meanwhile, the side of the Resistance has a boss pushing. Divine is going to be able to rip into this lane and take out that fort. This could be a very interesting situation. And there goes Azuriel. Couldn't pop his ult in time. Bramble takes that immediately. Aqua's, Prometheus, and Mr. Bros are going to be able to clear this camp out basically immediately. There's nothing here for Brambles to push with until that boss is removed. They're going to miss out on a little bit of curse value here. Divine is going to be able to completely nullify bot lane with the boss. Somebody's eventually going to have to respond to it. And Mr. Bros is likely going to go topside and defend alongside Azuriel's. Divine, on the other hand, is taking as much of an opportunity chip as possible. Bros opts to give up the fort. Aqua's is clearing mid lane, so this would be a 3v4 fight. Meanwhile, Red Rook's coming in, trying to stop this push of Divines from getting out of control. But those walls are already down. This boss is full health. It's going to give La Resistance a hard time to clear. But curse is already over. Pull is forced out of Prometheus by an excellent mine from Bramble. And Prometheus is caught in the root. Bramble fires out the ult, and Lava Wave is activated. Bramble takes the full damage from that. Loses about 70% HP. But this boss is still going. Aqua is running out of HP. And Molten Core is finally popped. Mid lane only took a little bit of damage. All in all, this is an incredibly even trade for the side of both teams. Blessed Shield gambling, makes it into the bunker, makes it out, but is put into an entomb before it's too late, and Red Rook is next on the chopping block. Azuriel wants to give them axes. It was a good bunker, but an even better entomb. Bramble tries to boop the camp away. Doesn't quite work out as planned, though, whether it's due to Johanna's Condemn or some other factor. Aqua steps up, catches him soak.
Gather tribute. Earn my favor.
And where's... Okay, it's Cursed up next. Both teams have their 13s. Collision Course is active. Got a Trap 'em All's active. Healing Static. Okay, Healing Static. Azuriel is caught by the stun. And another pull is forced out. Tazing is also popped. Aquas comes in for the flank, but not much happens there. This is a very even fight. It's going to be a bit difficult. Lava Wave popped perfectly on time. I think I'm going to sneak away once it goes past the keep and see what's going on. Ooh, it's a lot of damage. And you can see that wave spawned, and Lava Wave caught it with time to spare. Now the 16 advantage is here for the side of Regen, and they're going to be able to take a tribute with it. What else they do with it, that's a matter for scholars to think about. Ooh, gigantic usage of Blessed Shield forces the engage, but nothing has died so far. Red Rook manages to make it away, and the Ragnaros quest is complete. A lot of damage, a lot of chip happening thanks to Lava Wave here. It's making things really painful for the side of Dragoons. Gamblings has been spotted by Aqua. Aqua steps up with the Condemn. Aqua is going to have to stand his ground on this point. Blessed Shield is active. That's a 3-man silence. 3-man stun. And it's looking like Prometheus is first to drop. Azuriel and Aquas are both slowed. Todd Thingo was forced out. Senpai dies to Azuriel, and Aquas is next on the chopping block. Meanwhile, Divine is catching a lot of damage bot side. Once again, a big flashy fight in Dragoon's favor. But, yeah, it's going to be tricky whether or not they can solidify this at all. Lava Wave, once again. Cast it at a basically perfect time. And besides, Azuriel has disconnected again. Oh no. This is really sad. Oh, shoot, we're starting again. And it's looking like this is going to be a double boss situation for the Dragoons. Lab Resistance is clearing out the first one, probably before it kills the fort, but there's no wall here. There's no real defense for it. Wait a minute. Whoa. This is a situation that is now deeply in the favor of Dragoons. Divine is getting run down by the entirety of the Dragoons. But meanwhile, Azuriel, Bros, Prometheus, they have cleared out that boss for free. Lava Wave is activated. Gambling is going to take a chunk of damage there. But, meanwhile, Divine once again on that flank, playing spicily, manages to pick up a tribute before the side of the Dragoons can reach it. This is a very good situation now for the side of the Resistance. They're going to be first to 20. They're going to have a lot of pressure in favor. So much of this is due to the diligence of Divine. He is going into dangerous places, catching soak like an absolute mad lad. And he is matching pace with a Lava Wave rag. It's a risky playstyle, but he has made every attempt to kill him extremely expensive. Yeah, he's only died once too, so hey, it's working out. Lava Wave thrown mid. This time, it seems, to force the envelope. Another Lava Wave will be available in a few seconds. Blinded by the light, Inner Fire, Buried Alive, and Force Medicine. Huh. And it's looking like this next curse is going to go over to the side of La Resistance. It's looking like La Resistance is opting to clear out mid lane first. Red Rook is hearthing. They are very close to 20s on the side of Dragoons. They just have to hold off on fighting until Gambling clears that wave. And now the situation is pretty close to even for them. These waves auto-clear. Aqua goes in for a blind to clear it out. Divine is stepping up, hitting mid. Bros tanks a trap. Makes it out just okay. Divine is having a good time. We're seeing extra oomph, so trap resets are abound now. However, Aqua cancels it out with a stun. That means Blessed Shield is down, though. Light Bomb goes on Divine, and the Lava Wave chips out a little bit on everyone, but Divine is first to drop in this fight. Aqua tanks a whole bunch of damage, but is pulled out by Prometheus. And it's looking like Chaos pitched in, has caught Prometheus. Senpai is also chasing Red Rook. It's about to put down an oil, and it looks like Prometheus goes down. Aqua is taking a lot of damage to Gambling. Senpai nearly goes down. And it looks like Aqua's next on the chopping block, unless he can pull off a clutch. But he does not. Okay, with those two kills, it's looking like the side of Dragoons has a very real chance of just running this keep down, backing out when Lava Wave shows up, and then moving on to the defense. but it's a little more than Lava Wave, isn't it? What the heck is Divine doing? Divine is engaging in a core rush, has a catapult, and is actually going to outpace beside... Oh, Gambling goes down to the tower now. Bramble's getting run down. Ooh, Bramble barely makes it out with 40%. Red Rook is trying to defend against Divine, but Divine is actually going to... Oh, no, Red Rook misses the charge, and Divine is going to auto-attack him down. That is 30% core for maybe 40% of a keep's overall lifespan. Meanwhile, Azuriel is just starting that boss up immediately with 2 dead on the side. Okay, Divine finally goes down. But yeah, with 2 dead on the side of Dragoons, La Resistance has a very good chance of being able to take this as a win.
Red team's core is under attack.
It's going to be a hard fight. This is a dangerous score. And Aqua's once again goes in, denies Bramble his ult. Emily's doing as much damage as possible. Aqua's is reduced to about 80% HP. Azuriel's caught, but isn't going to go down. Divine lands in a tomb, and the lava wave comes in and cleans up. That is GG right there. Bunker is forced out. Aqua's on the pursuit. Bramble goes down. Ooh, that's a lot of damage that Bros took, but it's too little too late. And the Blaze goes down as well. Looking like Chaos Pigeon is going to be the last to fall. He's trying his best, but Bros catches him. That? Yeah. Hot dang. GG. Wait a minute. Shoot. I was showing the wrong one. I was showing my Heroic Division one because I'm very smart. Oh no. Okay. So let's just... hurry up and update. But yeah, this cast was entirely by accident. I'm just going to pop into lobby 2 now. If anybody wants to do an interview. Hey, Divine.
Hey there, how's it going?
That was some of the gnarliest Leoric gameplay I've seen in a while.
Hey, I appreciate it.
You were definitely, shall we say, one of the more aggressive offlaners I've seen in a while. You went in for split pushes that really had a huge impact on both of these games.
Yeah, honestly, so our mentality recently has transitioned. Previously, we were looking just to like, hey, how can we get some big, wombo combo comps?
Mm-hmm.
But we realized that it's all about whoever has level advantage, which
Mm.
disengages and like just pretty much makes people not want to fight as much. So yeah, no, just trying to pick like heavy soaking comps, and
Mm-hmm.
Leo is like my one person where like two, three, four people can come in, and it just he's got a kit that you know what I could even take the risk even if I die and come back even
Yeah.
sooner anyways.
Have you ever heard of a player named Dash Blue?
I mean, I've seen Dash Blue. I've seen him, I've seen him troll. I've seen him pull his own. It goes
Yeah.
both ways.
Oh yeah. Like I think you definitely are living in the philosophy of, hey, if they gank me and it takes them longer to kill me than it'll take me to come back up, it was worth it.
Of course, right? Like
Like when
it's all
people,
about wasting
yeah,
time.
yeah, like kills may be temporary, but that fort you just took, that 30% of the core you just took, yeah, that's permanent.
Exactly, right? Like
Yeah.
and when that was going, everybody was screaming like, "Let's go back to core, let's defend." And in my head, I'm like, "Wait, we've got molten core, we've got lava wave. You know what? Like, let the best
Yeah.
defense is offense. Let me see if I can get somebody to come back instead."
And the person you managed to get back ended up being Blaze, which meant the bunker ended up not being there for the threat.
Exactly, right?
Yeah,
And so that takes away from their pressure, that takes away from everything, and actually that even left them a man down because
two men down, I
Leo
think,
is a pretty
actually.
strong Blaze counter.
Well, you killed the Blaze, but someone else died topside. Possibly Bunker could have saved them, but
That's fair.
we
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's a
have
very
known.
good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So normally when I do this, I go through and talk about game one first.
Sure.
So indulge me there. We saw Dahaka there out of you where I didn't see it ever happen. I didn't witness it personally, but it looked like you were Zing away from the enemy rather than towards, which is, shall we say, a little bit unorthodox.
And you know what, you're right. Like even Speed Racer Dahaka, right? Like you
Yeah.
build into him moving fast. You
Yeah.
kind of have that flexibility, and on the bigger maps where we can soak one side lava wave and force it the other way, like
Yeah.
it's like, all right, well, let's make them sacrifice something if they want to fight, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And speaking of lava wave, one thing that I pointed out, it and between game one, game two, I couldn't quite tell if Mr. Bros knew, but I assume you're familiar that if you lava wave at 20 seconds and 50 seconds, I believe, you'll catch the waves that are currently there as well as the one that just spawned.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know that he said that he's been working on that
Yeah.
recently. Every map has a different time, to my understanding.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, so he was letting me know, you know what, I'm gonna get this, and
Oh, yeah.
I think something else that we're working on is making sure that like let's do it on the opposite side of the objectives, just so people it's either you force the team to be a man down or you force them to lose something, right? Like it's
Exactly.
one or the other.
Use lava wave as if it were a global, if you understand what I mean. Like you use
Oh,
it
exactly.
to create that sort of distraction, which I thought was really good. There were a few times, especially game number two, where I noticed the lava wave go down, and it's like, oh, that's going to take half a fort on its own, just because they're
Exactly, right?
so pressured everywhere else. It was an interesting and I'll be honest, refreshing way to look at it. Like, I definitely noticed the other team was a little bit scared of a Genji light bomb, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they saw the
But
Andy pick,
yeah,
and I don't even think we didn't even have Genji in our arsenal for that game. It was just
yeah.
funny because they saw the Anduin pick, and Mr. Bros often does go Genji, but we've just been wanting to see what we can do with the macro.
Mm.
And yeah, it's actually like they just pretty much gave us a free ban. I totally thought I was gonna lose the Leoric on that one, and what are we gonna pick next, right?
Mm-hmm. So one of the other things I noticed that was really quite interesting about game one, anyways, was Mr. Bros Ragnaros soloing the camp. Like often you see offlaners like Hogger doing that, but so much of that was just down to immaculate micro, moving around the camps, making sure the multiple ones couldn't hit him at the same time, kiting them so that they walked through the meteor. That there was a lot of really good stuff there that allowed him to take it practically on par with the Hogger.
No, and honestly, like I was even a couple times. I'm gonna be honest. I question him taking that camp because I'm like, it's on their side. Are you sure? We're already winning. We don't have to break any like if you don't have to fix anything if it's not broken. But it went uncontested. So, and to my surprise, like okay, then that did work out. And which left like that first game, Hogger had to go and clear the camp top, and it left them another man down, right? So every little bit contributed to us getting ahead.
Yeah. Definitely, I think, looking at that game, it looked like the Brightwing pick was an intentional choice to make sure that the Diablo on Aquas would be set up quite nicely, especially being taken in tandem with Tychus. The question that I'm phrasing that is, it looked like you spent a lot of time making sure that Diablo would thrive and he wouldn't deal with any counters. What did you think about the Thrall percent damage build as a countermeasure to Tychus? To Diablo, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, that was a good pick because when I first saw Thrall, I was expecting a crash,
Mhm.
just out of instinct, right? Like, okay, you're gonna be 4-man, you're gonna crash. And oftentimes, Thrall could be a pretty dangerous solo against beefy people,
Mm.
with this percentage health. Now, I think it actually worked out for them very well. If our playstyle was like let's fight them, I think we would have lost. To
Mm.
team matchup to team matchup, I don't think we would have won that. Um, but like they had the blow up comp, right? You had the
Yeah.
Hanzo arrow. You had just pretty much every like that Hanzo arrow actually engaged very very well, which actually left us like a couple times. The Brightwing couldn't get out. There was nothing he can do. Like even with a teleport out, there's nothing he can do.
Yeah, and I mean, if you teleport onto someone who has a silent circle, you can't teleport out, you know?
Exactly right. So honestly, that thrall just amplified the blow up, which for heavy percentage tanks, um, I think it complemented their team very well. It just unfortunately for them, we weren't looking for a fight, right?
And even when they won, you have that Ragnaros there with the waves, with the molten core, just doing so much of what you're doing, which is wasting time, putting pressure on them, making it incredibly difficult for them to ultimately build a win condition.
Oh, exactly. Like even when we knew that we were giving them the curse, we had a wave. We had a wave pushing. We had molten. We had molten core. We had boss. We had. We gave up the third curse tribute for boss so we can start working towards our win condition, right? Which was a sacrifice that you couldn't even see it in our towers either.
Hmm. Yeah. Game two, though, a lot of that I think is very much in the constant pressure you put on them early on. And I do have a few other honorable mentions. One of them would be the instant response out of Aquas every time a Junkrat ultimate came out. I would just notice it's like he sees the ult, he fires Blessed Shield, and stops that ult from exploding.
Yeah,
Like, that was
honestly,
really cool to
the
watch.
the last time that was actually very critical too, because I hadn't noticed until afterwards,
Mm.
but the Junkrat built into that ult as well for his 20. So had
Yeah.
it gone off, then it would have gone off again, and it would have gone off again.
And
So
they
the fact that
might
he
have
was
actually been able to
aggressive.
turn that one around.
Exactly, right? The fact that he was aggressive enough to make sure that that didn't go off, was a very good notice on his part. I do agree with that one as well.
Yeah. Anyways. I had one other thought. What did you think about the particularly unfortunate timing of Azuriel's first disconnect?
Yeah, no. So honestly, Azuriel, like he just sometimes like he goes up and down with it with his connection. And honestly, I'd say probably about 95% of the time he's all right. And it was funny because in the middle of the game, he was like, "Okay, I'm lagging. Okay, I'm lagging," and he said it probably for about 5-10 seconds without anybody on the team responding. Like, "Okay, yeah, you're lagging." Um, nobody had noticed. You know what? Before we were gonna watch him die, maybe we should have paused the game when he first said it. Right?
Yeah.
So we kind of left him hanging on that first round, and then the second time I think we responded a little faster. But yeah, I think he went in 1v4 by himself, and his original intention, we said delay the tribute just so we can push a little bit.
Yeah.
But by the time the delay started, he turned into a bot, and
He's
the bot
walked
didn't have
into the Junkrat
e-
trap.
exactly right. So the bot didn't really know what our intention was, and by the time he came back, it was just a little too late.
Yeah.
He came back just in time to watch himself die, which was, good
Yeah.
for him.
You guys paused it when he was at 10 HP. Like, he basically had to get the timing down perfect, press R before the Muradin killed him with the last auto attack, so, like, he basically would have had to have pressed resume and then an R at the same time, and he might have lived. Like, that was basically the only
it
way
would
to
have
get
just
out.
yeah, it was just delaying the inevitable. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he was a little too he put himself a little too deep there, unfortunately.
Well, the disconnect did.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, not him. Not like by no means are we blaming him.
Well, I think I've run out of stuff to talk about. Anybody
Yeah,
you
no
want to
worries,
shout
man.
out to before?
Honestly, like I think it's just the team in itself, right? I think that our team has struggled with like being on the same page with our decisions, and a lack of patience as well.
Yeah.
So just the last couple of games, we've just kind of said, okay, let's just try this and let's see how it goes. And we haven't really been practicing it. We've only been using it in NGS, and surprisingly, like I think this is 2 dominations in a row where it's like, you know what, like maybe this is working for us. But again, um,
Mm.
if something catches on and it starts to get banned, we'll have to think of something else, right?
Well, for that question, and I think there's a way to put this composition. You have essentially a Ragnaros anchor, is how I'd like to describe it. So Ragnaros is sort of filling the same role as a Junkrat or a Chromie or whatnot. So the question for you then is, do you want to evolve your reg players so Mr. Bros to also be able to run things like Hog or Zagara, Nazebo, the whole gamut of things that can hold
Yeah,
down a
that
location and sort of act as a pseudo offlaner.
exactly right. And I think also like having a bruiser that can poke and do wave clear is something that gives you a little bit more beef and a little
Yeah.
bit more damage, right? Um, so I do agree with the thought. But yeah, I think right now our team is just like in the midst of like realizing the potential of macroing and what it could provide to the team.
Yeah.
So through that realization, I think our team will continue to evolve to like maybe find a more diverse hero pool that can continue to allow us to like doing what we're doing.
Yeah. And from what I can tell, Azuriel definitely fills the role of a hyper carry quite well for you guys. It
I'm
looks
going
like
to
you.
agree, but I
Hmm?
also don't want to let it get to his head because a couple too many compliments and it's going to get to his head too. So as you shout out to you, but buddy, I'm not going to let you fill your head too much either.
All right then.
All right, man. Well, thanks for your time, and also like I think we were supposed to enter this without a caster, so even thanks for finding the time to cast.
Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, the team that ended up forfeiting recommended picking you guys up for a round. So shout out to Lloyd then for recommending you guys for a cast. These
Cool,
were
hey,
definitely this was definitely a fun series to cast.
Yeah, shout out to Lloyd.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. Well, thanks again, and yeah, have a good night.
You too.
All right, later.
Cheers. All right then. Before you all go, I have one more thing to say. I'm going to end up giving Josh a raid. He's in the middle of a series right now, running wild. This one's a big one. It's the grudge match between the top two teams next season. They're now both in growth. So, I hope y'all check them out. Have a good time. Let's do this. Alright. Let's do this, folks.